Let's walk without footsteps. Let's sing without sound. Let's dance without moving. Stay steady on the ground. In no ground. In no sound. I am no one.
Give to others what you want for yourself. It sounds simple enough, doesn't it? Or does it? You know, it's a version of a teaching that Jesus was supposed to have given, which was do unto others what you would have done unto you, right? And you know, for a long time, I thought I had understood Jesus' words, which in my mind worked like this: treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Okay, no big deal there. But you know what? I came to realize that I understood and practiced this mostly in terms of how not to treat people. For example, don't yell at them, don't cheat them, don't lie to them, don't disrespect them, don't bully them, don't take advantage of them, don't intentionally offend them, don't go out of your way to be unkind to them, and so on, you know. What had escaped me was how exactly to treat people, such as to treat them with respect, with kindness, with honesty, with generosity, with understanding, with acceptance, with forgiveness, with a sincere interest in their well-being, and a genuine interest to understand them, and a willingness to look past their flaws or weaknesses. Yeah, those kinds of attitudes and behaviors are quite different from the behaviors of not doing things, because they are proactive and intentional. And when I think about offering people those kinds of attitudes and behaviors, I can see how in offering them, I receive them, so to speak, myself, because I am allowing those attitudes and behaviors to embody me and vibrate within me. They become, you know, part of my field or my aura, so to speak. And that to me is a very different thing to not doing certain things or not behaving in certain ways. It reminds me very much about this principle in science about nature abhorring a vacuum. Have you come across that one? Yeah, it's a scientific observation that a vacuum is an unstable state and that it is just waiting to be filled by something, anything, for it to become stable again. And so when we speak and think of and behave in terms of not doing something, we are effectively creating a vacuum. And how does that get filled? By the very thing we are trying to avoid doing. Why? Because that's what our attention is on. But when we begin with the vacuum by recognizing what we don't want, and then set out to intentionally and proactively fill it with what we do want, guess what? In the process, we are experiencing the very thing that we do want. Do you get what I mean? I love what Abraham, as channeled through Esther Hicks, has to say about the nature of the universe. And for those of you who are not familiar with Abraham, they describe themselves as a group of non-physical entities who are trying to help us understand the nature of reality and how we can be aligned with it so that we can live a joyous, fulfilled, and abundant life. Anyway, Abraham says this about the universe, that it is an inclusive universe. And by that they mean that there is no thought that the universe can exclude if it is offered by us. And that in accordance with the law of attraction, when a thought is offered, whether it is a thought of what is wanted or what is not wanted, the law of attraction responds to it indiscriminately. In other words, in the same way. To what is not wanted, more of what is not wanted is drawn. And to what is wanted, more of what is wanted is drawn. Look, I'm sure we've all experienced the truth of this in our lives, right? For example, when we're feeling anxious and we keep thinking and feeling how awful it is to be feeling anxious and how much we don't want to feel anxious and oh my goodness, what is going to happen if I don't stop being anxious, and all that crazy thinking, does it actually reduce our anxiety, or does it in fact increase it? And likewise, when we think of something that we want and we keep thinking and feeling the goodness of what we want, that like that new car or whatever, we're likely to soon be experiencing it. Like when we think of having a cold shower on a hot and sticky day, before you know it, we're under a refreshing cold shower, sometimes courtesy of nature, but most likely the result of stepping into our bathroom. Now, I know a lot of people will say that there are many things that they think of, that they want, but that have not manifested in their lives. And I know that this is such a common feeling, so that I think it really deserves a separate discussion. But briefly, I'll say this. If we offer no resistance to our desires, they are certain to manifest. They cannot but. The problem for most of us is that we do offer resistance, and quite a bit of it, I might add, in the form of, for example, doubt, and a host of other beliefs in scarcity, beliefs of unworthiness, beliefs of the fear of failure and the fear of success, and so on. Anyway, getting back to giving to others what you want for yourself. As I said, I've come to realize that it is a mental and emotional shift that we must make, realizing that it is our readiness and preparedness to give, that in that readiness and preparedness to give, we simultaneously arouse and train and embody those very qualities or states. And so we effectively receive what we give. I wonder whether you've experienced this in your life. I know I have on countless occasions and in so many different circumstances and in different ways, like when I intentionally show consideration for others, or have an attitude of acceptance, or I'm genuinely interested in what someone has to say, or conversely, when I have offered thoughts and feelings of distrust or annoyance or impatience or disrespect, which increases the chances of meeting people who are equally distrustful, equally annoyed, and equally impatient. But I'll say this, not everyone we encounter will respond in kind, but someone along our way will. But what's way more important than any of that is that if we practiced giving and intending to give to others what we want for ourselves, we will in fact be less reliant on whether they reciprocate or not. Why? Because we have already given it, or should I say received it within ourselves. It's like you get what you give, or you experience what you're in vibrational correspondence with, or you manifest according to your beliefs and expectations, or your lived experiences are an outpicturing of your mental and emotional states, or the one I like best, you experience what you allow. Pick any one of those, you know? Before I finish, I want to say this. I know that, especially in the past, I have felt emotionally poor, emotionally desperately needy, emotionally unsteady, emotionally numb even. And it was no wonder that rather than be able to give or allow, I looked to other people and other things to top me up, to fix the deficit that I was feeling, to, in short, make me happy and fulfilled. And of course that never worked, not in a lasting and reliable way. It was only until I embraced the truth that my happiness is dependent on no one else but me. And I began to observe my own mind, to learn what it was doing to block my happiness, and that I have been able to free myself from the tyranny of expecting happiness from someone else, or expecting behaviors and words that would give rise to my happiness from someone else. And I will say that it's not a done deal, it's a work in progress. Because there are moments when the old habits of thought and words and behavior sneak in, and before I know it, there I am feeling sad or abandoned or low in confidence and faith and sorry for myself and you know what I mean. But I tell you what, I can confidently report that those occasions are less and less frequent than they used to be, and much less intense. And I'm able to much more quickly notice when it's happening, and so shift into a state of presence from which I can make conscious and loving choices. So what about you? Does any of this ring true for you? What have your life experiences showed you about the relationship between your inner world and the outer world? I'd love to know. And in the meantime, much love, and may your heart beat with the rhythms of peace.
I am no one. I
Hey everybody, I know it's so easy to forget, I do it myself so often, but please, if you did like this video, do hit the like button, do subscribe, do share, and most of all, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much.